Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang Bapak, Ibu, dan rekan-rekan semua. Selamat datang di acara Obrolan Heritage ke-79 edisi bulan Maret 2024. Narasumber OH kali ini Dr. Mongkol Khan dengan moderator Ibu Kusumaningdyah akan materi mengenai Asia Street Culture atau budayaan jalanan di Asia. Welcome to the Obrolan Heritage. In March 2024. The speaker of today is Dr. Mongkol Khan with Kusumaningdyah as moderator. We will present them about exploring the essence of Asian heritage, experiencing Asian street culture. Okay, so obrolan sekilas mengenai Obrolan Heritage, yaitu forum luring informal yang digagas Budaya dengan Badan Pelestarian AI Nasional sejak tahun 2016. Dan sejak tahun 2020 hingga saat ini bermitra dengan jurusan arsitektur Universitas Trisakti untuk beralih ke metode daring. Berikut beberapa perilaku selama 2 jam ke depan. Pertama, pastikan Anda masuk ke dalam ruang Zoom menggunakan tautan yang sudah dikirim ke masing-masing agar nama profil Anda sesuai dengan yang didaftarkan. Kedua, mic Anda akan diaturnya selama paparan narasumber berlangsung. Seluruh peserta Zoom dan hadirin dari YouTube dapat menuliskan komentar atau pertanyaan melalui kolom chat. Susunan acara pada Obrolan Heritage kali ini berikutnya akan dilakukan sambutan oleh Ibu Lucia. Kepada Ibu Lucia kami persilahkan.
Masih
Ibu
di mute
Lucia,
ya?
di mute Ibu.
Terima kasih Ibu Wanda. Sudah terdengar? Maaf.
Oke,
Sudah terdengar? Ya.
sudah Mbak.
Ya, selamat siang, salam sejahtera. Terima kasih atas kesempatan yang diberikan kepada saya untuk menyampaikan kata sambutan pada acara webinar Obrolan Heritage ke-79 ini dengan topik budaya jalanan di Asia yang dinamis, memiliki nilai penting sebagai landasan dalam urban heritage dan identitas budaya. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to me to give opening remarks at the 17th Obrolan Heritage webinar on the topic of dynamic street culture in Asia, which has important value as a foundation for urban heritage and cultural identity. Pada kesempatan ini, terima kasih kami ucapkan kepada Dr. Mongkol Khan, PhD dari Rajamangala University of Technology Thanyaburi, Thailand, dan International Workshop on Asia Heritage IWAH dengan moderator dari Ibu Dr. Eng Kusumaningdyah N.H STMT dari Universitas Sebelas Maret Surakarta. Okay, on this occasion, we would like to thank you for Dr. Mongkol Khan, PhD from Rajamangala University of Technology, Thanyaburi, Thailand, and the International Workshop on Asian Heritage, moderated by Dr. Kusumaningdyah N.H STMT from Sebelas Maret University, Surakarta. Saya juga mengucapkan terima kasih sebesar-besarnya kepada Ikatan Arsitektur Indonesia dan PDA, Pusat Dokumentasi Arsitektur, yang selama ini telah bekerja sama dengan baik bersama program studi Magister Arsitektur Universitas Trisakti dalam menyelenggarakan acara webinar Obrolan Heritage ini yang sampai saat ini sudah diselenggarakan sampai ke 79 kali. We also thank to IAI and the PDA who have collaborated well with the Master of Architecture Study Program, Trisakti University, in organizing this Obrolan Heritage webinar event, which has been held for the 7th time. Akhirnya kami mengucapkan juga terima kasih sebesar-besarnya kepada seluruh peserta webinar yang bisa mengikuti acara ini. Semoga berjalan dengan baik dan semoga dapat memberi manfaat sebesar-besarnya bagi kita semua. Finally, I hope that all webinar participants can take part in this event well, and hopefully it will be give benefit for all of us. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Selamat mengikuti acara ini.
Ya, terima kasih kepada Ibu Lucia atas sambutannya. Thank you for Ibu Lucia. Selanjutnya akan saya bacakan bio dari pembicara kita hari ini, yaitu pertama adalah Dr. Mongkol Khan. Dr. Mongkol Khan ialah seorang dosen khusus pada Fakultas Arsitektur Universitas Teknologi Thanyaburi Rajamangala di Thailand. Saat ini beliau menyandang posisi sebagai konsultan dekan. Dr. Mongkol mendapatkan gelar PhD di Arsitektur dari Fakultas Lingkungan Terbangun dan Survei Universitas Teknologi Malaysia. Penelitiannya berfokus pada jalan tradisional dan kebudayaan jalanan di berbagai negara Asia. Saat ini beliau menjabat sebagai Direktur International Workshop on Asian Heritage 2023 yang diselenggarakan oleh Fakultas Arsitektur dan Perencanaan. Workshop tersebut bertujuan untuk menghubungkan solusi sejarah dan kreatif untuk menjaga warisan budaya tak benda HOK. Dr. Mongkol Khan is a special lecturer at the Faculty of Architecture, Rajamangala University of Technology, Thanyaburi in Thailand. He currently holds the position of the Dean Consultant. Dr. Mongkol has earned his PhD in Architecture from the Faculty of Built Environment and Surveying, University Technology, Malaysia. His research focuses on traditional street and street culture in Asian countries. He currently holds the position of Director of the International Workshop on Asian Heritage, hosted by Faculty of Architecture and Planning. The workshop aims to connect the heritage and creative solutions to safeguarding the intangible cultural heritage. Untuk moderator obrolan heritage kali ini adalah Ibu Kusumaningdyah atau yang akrab dipanggil dengan nama Ruli. Adalah dosen senior di jurusan Arsitektur Fakultas Teknik Universitas Sebelas Maret Surakarta, Jawa Tengah, Indonesia. Menyelesaikan gelar PhD di Departemen Arsitektur dan Desain Perkotaan, Department of Architecture and Urban Design, Faculty of Human Environment Studies, Kyushu University, Japan. Minat penelitiannya meliputi desain sosial, arsitektur konservasi, dan masalah kampung kota. Saat ini, beliau juga menjabat sebagai Kepala Laboratorium Desain dan Konservasi Perkotaan Pedesaan atau URDC Labo, serta Kepala Pusat Studi Jepang PSJ LPPM UNS. Terlibat sebagai anggota aktif sebagai tim ahli warisan budaya atau di ACB di Dinas Kebudayaan Kota Surakarta dan anggota di Komite Aktif kota kreatif di Bape Kota Surakarta, serta menjadi tim ahli di Kemenparekraf hingga saat ini. Berikutnya saya serahkan OHA ini kepada pembicara dan moderator.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mbak Wardah, for the short introduction biography. But yeah, first of all, we would like to open these events. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang. Selamat bergabung buat Bapak Ibu semuanya di kegiatan Obrolan Heritage. Yeah, we would like to welcome you also, Dr. Mongkol Khan. Thank you very much for attending. Would like to attend these events and would like to share what that you have been done with your networks regarding the how you keep the maintenance the theory or the experience of Great Street Asians. That's why these events also become part very potential to promote and then to spreading how actually we could keep this great Asian street. Yeah, I think it's not only in Thailand or Malaysia, but also Indonesia and other Southeast Asians. We can have these cultures and what kind of this culture and what kind of the challenges of this street culture. What is in the futures we will facing and how we maintain this culture or this soul of the Great Asian Street. That's the way we would like to hear a lot from you, Dr. Mongkol Khan. So without any futures times, I mean, it's not. Let's have a start this discussion with your presentations in front of us, Dr. Mongkol Khan. Are you ready?
Yes, ready.
Okay, ready. Have a please to give the lectures probably to 45 minutes or until 1 hour, and then we continue with the discussion. Time
Okay.
is yours, Dr. Mongkol Khan.
Okay, thank you very much for the invitation, and it's going to be my honor, yeah, to be in front of all of you here. I assume that all of you are in the professional field, so my presentation would be within the expectation of to all of you. Let me start. Okay. All right. Okay. So, as I have told by Ruli to present on the topic of experiencing the Asian street cultures, over many of years of the exploring and collecting the data and experiencing, so is a good chance now that the networking of all the Southeast Asian country whole tight, and we are going better and better for the networking. So this presentation will have some of the case studies from several press, especially Hanoi, which actually we just came back from Hanoi several months ago on November. So I will share you something that we have been found from there. All right. Okay, so this cover of my presentation right now, as you see, we will come back at the end to talk about this later, right? What is the meaning inside of these photos? Okay, so for briefly, this is going to be my content. Some of them will go very quick, and some of them will go in the detail. But first of all, is the opportunity for me to introduce and the background of the International Workshop on Asian Heritage, which already organized it for 5th time already. And I will share you some of the ideas of each events from number 1 to number 5th. And later on, we will talk about the importance of the heritage preservation. And I will give you some of overview of the briefing of Hanoi quarters. And the main issue will be the uniqueness of the Asian street culture as urban heritage. And if we have more time, Additionally, we're going to talk about the Asian urban heritage and ICH later if we can manage by the time. Yeah? So about the IWAH for just few minutes. IWAH is the networking of the 5 universities established since 2015. We have, of course, University Technology Malaysia from Johor Bahru, Malaysia. And we have Faculty of Engineering Universitas Sebelas Maret from Indonesia, and Rajamangala University, Thailand, of course, and Faculty of Architecture, Urban Design, and Creative Arts in Mahasarakan University in northeast of Thailand. And latest organizer is the Faculty of Civil Engineering from Hanoi University of Civil and Engineering in Vietnam. Here is the location of each university. However, okay. So this is since the first time. I'm going to be quick. That time, Dr. Laletna also there, Professor Aidit also there for the first time, and then we keep continuing. And this is the timeline of each event of the IWAH. Started from Chinatown, Bangkok, Thailand, and then Ayutthaya, and we go to the central part of Phetchabun district in Lom Gao district, Thailand. And on the number 4th, we conduct online workshop. So we join the various guests from 4 countries from 5 universities. And that is one is the 5th we conduct in both online and physical one in Hanoi Quarter. And coming up in Indonesia 2025, as the Dr. Ruli and Dr. Titis already preparing some part of the workshop with coming up next year.
Dr.
some-
Mongkol, sorry, I
Yes.
think PPT is not working.
Really?
The slide. Can you?
Not working, what do you mean? Does it show?
It's only for the still in the page in the beginning, yeah, the international.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Really. Wait, yeah. So what happened? What else I can do?
Is it the slide from the maps of the Southeast Asia?
Yes. Page
All right.
still on the page 10. Okay, do you want me to help? Probably I can share. Okay.
Is it
Oh,
moving?
good. Yes.
Moving?
Yes, you can continue.
All right. Okay. So this is timeline that I mentioned before. Yeah. Hopefully we will meet again in Indonesia, and of course, as most of the audience now are Indonesia, so we expected to see all of you or some of you in the events or even some other event as well. That if IWAH can be part of the other mission, that we will love to join. Okay. So this is number 3rd. Okay, I will go very quick. This one. Okay, some of the poster images. And now this is the content of each of the IWAH. Mostly we conducted in the old quarter of the city. For example, in the first one we conduct as the street culture, we finding the harmony in complexity. The secondly, and then on the 2018. We focused on the conservation awareness in Lom Gao, the traditional commercial district, and on the 4th one is about the Asian experience. That time is under the pandemic, so we highlighted that how we're going to survive about the urban street culture and the meaningful of the public space. Then it become the new normal for everyone. And latest one is the revitalization of the connecting of the local space and also on the craft street and alleys. If some of you have been to Hanoi, you see that they have a very unique character of the city. Not only the small street, but they have some very small alley as well. So we have investigated that how to develop the guideline and support the local governance and how on each craft street can become more vibrant. Okay, so part of the many cases of the Southeast Asia that we are trying to redefine the what about the street culture that has been changed time to time. But some of the human aspect or activity still remain, but the physical thing have been changed. The development of the city have been changed rapidly. So how are we going to deal with that? Okay, this is the poster of the latest IWAH. Okay, I will go quick with this one. However, I want to take this opportunity to introduce that there are during the opening of ceremony, the IWAH have set up as the committee that we will be ready to organize the new event and also to connect with other organizations as well. That will be our part as the one who work in the conservation field, that we need our strong networking, not only just us, but all others as well. And we are still a small committee, so we need our to enhance and expand our networking to help the city to conserve their own heritage. Okay, and also this is during the talk of Dr. Ruli, she gives some of a lot of important and impressive ideas about the placemaking and about the Nasbro and street corridor and all this, and from Surakarta. Okay, some activities here. Okay. Okay. This is the objective of the workshop, but what I want to mention here is about the keywords of the workshop. On the yellow one, you see that we highlighted about the relationship of the heritage and connectivity and creative, that we have study and reviews quite very hard to end up with these keywords, to explore through the objective number 1, number 2, number 3. And we still need more hard work to go on, not only just in Hanoi, but also other cities as well that have the old quarters that need to be concerned for the awareness and all these things, especially it related to the cultural tourism as well. Okay, this one I'm not going to go to detail, but you can discuss later. So at the first, each of the words has been connected one by one. So to find out that what is the solution of our output, and we find out at the end that okay, there are some of the problem that some of these cities, some of the area have not have a strong potential to conduct all of this, but that is the output that we have to find other solution to complete it later. Okay, this is our site that we selected 3 street, and each street considering as the craft street, or maybe we can call this as the traditional street as well, because many of the street, especially in Hanoi Quarter, it become modern street already. No special characteristic, even the architectural style or the activity itself is become modern. They have a new style of the coffee shop, cafeteria, and all this. So what remain in the Hanoi Quarter on now is the craft street that we try to revitalize and bring it back. So each street, for first one, for example, the traditional medicine street. I think in Bangkok, Thailand, or in Solo or in Jakarta, maybe still have some kind of the old occupation, like especially the old traditional medicine that we can go and buy and not only go to the hospital, herbs and all this. The second one is the tinsmith that also have a problem because of the new material of the product from the industrial plastic and all other things. It replaced it of this kind of product. And the last one is the silver craft street. This is a very unique one because since 13th century, they produced in that time. So it's over 600 years ago. All right. So this is some part of the student online pre-assignment. Okay. I've shown you some of the quick overview of the Hanoi quarters. Okay, Hanoi quarters have the this is laser pointer. Okay, so as you see here on the screen, highlight here, this is the old quarter. On the east side is the citadel or the palace inside since before the reform. It's established on 10th century. And lower one, you see the big lake, Hon Kiem Lake, and also the French Quarter over there, and the Great Line here. So this is the three main element of Hanoi Old Quarters. And on the west, there is the Red River, which is a very busy market on the old days. Okay. So you see that in ancient Hanoi, okay, Red River, there's have also Hanoi means actually they mean a big market. So it's the part of the connection from the outside and inside of the Hanoi or the other part of the city from Vietnam, north of Vietnam, and connected to China and connected southward to other Southeast Asian countries as well. But not as busy as, like, for example, as Malaga or those, but it's still a big market. Okay, this is the transformation of the city. I'm not going to going too much in detail, but what you can see that is Hanoi Old Quarter, the settlement is come from the villages from the outside. So they migrate from several parts of Hanoi to here, and they set up from each village. They will have their own specialist. For example, they have their specialist for the medicine, for the tinsmith, or for paperworks and all this. So they come stick together. They stick together before the street have been paved or have been created, and later on it become a street. That kind of corridor, it become a street. So that you may heard that they also call Hanoi Quarter of the 36th Street in the old days, but now it's more than 36 already. But this is the very unique part of the structure of the Hanoi Old Quarter arrangement. Okay, from 19th centuries, they already have the row house, 1 story, 2 story. Most of them occupied by traders, and they have a very small area. So limitation of this area is their challenge, how to use the space differently than other city. Also, some of the very old photos about how they carry goods to sell food or other types of things. Also, this is a drawing and also a sword that they made to serve the citadel in the old days. Okay, now they have started the electricity. There's started the modern trade in somehow for shoes or other things, but they still remain the old occupation. Okay, this is the specialist for the bamboos. Yeah, they work everything with the bamboos. So this way are also very unique. Okay, here I want to show you the point of this slide. This is about the village idealistic of for example of the Hanoi urban roots. You may know that most of the city, especially in the old quarter, are started from the trade base. But for the case of Hanoi old quarter, they are not only just trade, but they are still have a village base that adopted from, let's say, like they are from the rural area, adopted into the urban area. So we see the first series, they started have began from the wet market and the dry marketplace as well. So we see that they started kind of temporary architecture, like wooden houses and all this. And later on the second series, the develop of the market and the setting of the craft worker already start at the serving as the citadel and the trading. So you see that the house expanding, and they still have a rice field on the backyard. Thirdly, is the series of structuring the urban village already. So they have started by using the plasters, concrete already start with even mixed with the wooden, and it become more deeper in terms of because they have a very narrow of the area plot line. So they have to make it narrow and going to a very long of the row house, same like in many part of Southeast Asia, but this is adopted from village base. So what village base means? So they still believe in what from the ancestor, that okay, they have to concern about their own cultures and their own practices, even they are already in the urban village already. So the last series, the fourth one, is the already in the mid of the 19th century. This can be considering as the colonial period, and later on it become independence period. But they still have the existence of the urban village and the craft street, and develop in the and so-called as the tube house or vertical tube house. So what do you mean by tube? Tube is a very long, narrow houses, very, very narrow. Some of them are less than 3 meters or 2 meters that width. So you go inside there, it's like you go into the cave. No good lights, no ventilation, but they have a small of the let's say like a courtyard, but very, very small one for the ventilation of the for the daylight, and to protect them from the winter season as well. Okay. Okay, so this can be one of the part that we can discuss later. However, since we have learned from many part of the Southeast Asian country, and especially the latest one from Hanoi, that heritage conservation is the part of urban development. So urban development have several aspects, but somehow for the heritage conservation, we rely on the local economies. We rely on maybe too much on tourism development somehow, and also we need a support from the local and urban governance as well. So this become a series of the community development as well. And about the trending now, for the Gen Z, millennium, or not Gen or Gen Y as well, they're seeking for the unique character of the city or places. So this it become a tourism boom to use for the promote to the for the revitalization of the intangible cultural heritage as well. But the coins have two sides, right? So they have two impact. If you are not ready, and then you boom the economics from the tourism, so somehow it become the threat for your own district or for your own city, because it's not last long. It's become just a trend, and then the community cannot survive by themselves. If they cannot survive by themselves, you rely on other partner, you rely on other organization, that will be a dangerous aspect that we cannot going to sustain it. However, on the right side, okay, you may think it's some of the word here, but the one that become the trend now, like I say just now, is the global heritage called conservation. So people try to make this heritage become kind of a product or the asset, yeah. Not only just the physical attributes, and it become a local wisdom that try to be have been turned out to be the sell as the product as well. So this is a very crucial and very dangerous because of when this kind of industry a boom, and then you don't have a good plan to maintain and or to survive, it become a threat, as I said. Okay. The others we can talk later. Okay. So I'm going to be Ruli, how much time do I have? Okay, still
Okay, still.
still in time, yeah. So okay, considering Asian Street, not from the Western side, right? So this is a very unique form of how people use the street for different purposes, for several types of the activities that occur on the street. We don't use the plaza. We don't use a large outdoor garden. We use the street because the street contain everything for social, for public, for cultural, spiritual, even the political demonstration, or local space itself. Or now they use the street as the creative space as well. And all can be mixed together in one time. This is the overall of the aspect of the Asian street. Okay. However, we have to put the high concern that by previous slide, that it means that we use the street in terms of multi-layer and multi-functioning, not one by one, right? So this is affected when we put the new design to the street. We try to rearrange, redraw, and try to wipe up some of the not presenting as seen by designer or as seen by the policy maker, but at the reality is that is the root of the people culture. So we have to be very careful about this. And also the word public space. We review many of the research and all this, but each place have their own types of the public space in terms of the meaning. So we have to be careful that public space are not all the same. It's different. It depends on the local context. It depends on the surrounding. It depends on etc. Yeah. Okay. Quickly with the key force of Asian urban development, of course, the rapid urbanization, the growth of the urban area outpaced other continent. Then city reshaping the public space changed many things, changed the urban life and also the community resilience as well. Secondly, the place identity challenges. Of course, we have new high-rise building, and that make a risk to losing the traditional charm, and we cannot bring it up like in the old days. Once it's gone, it's definitely gone. Including the human scale qualities that when you build a high-rise, the mega emporium and all this, street level have a problem because it's not connected to the human scale anymore. Right? So this become the challenge of the placemaking or the study of even the sense of place and all this. Third one is the evolving of the urban identities. Generation of the people have been changed. The old people think differently. New people who will be the one who drive the city, who run the conservation things and all this, become a very important part. But they've seen different view than the old people. So shaping the city and driving and a shift toward, we need to focus on different generation of the people. We may call the people-centric spaces and enhance the community well-being, but we have to ensure that all of the voices has been listened, not only just the old man or not only just the policy makings and all this, but everyone must have their own voices. And last one is about the climate resilience. So this is all over the flooding, pollution, and all this. It reflected to the in the design and the innovative design. We need some protection because the heavy rain. We need a more drainage system because the flooding very heavy and all this. So it involved with part of one of the forces that we have to concern. Going quickly with this one, when we talk about the characteristic of Asian street, this is from my earlier research. The first one, we have to think carefully about the activity patterns of the locals, that mostly they are informal by their nature. They don't need to be very too well constructed. They don't need to be too well organized. They want to be in organic way by their nature. That is the activity patterns. And this kind of living is reflected by the way how there's the structure and how the space is structured and organized. And for the built form, this is deal with the architect or conservation architect as well. Need to accommodate all those activity as well. Because when we talk about the built form, it's not only just the architecture, but it involves with the space as well. And as I said earlier, that we need to define what is the notion of the public space in each places. So we should come out with a solution for the design and the layout that accommodate all these activities, not only just one particular activities, not just like that. So street remain the transition between buildings and other urban activity as well. We can call this as the interface or the transition. But most of the problem here is we try to make every spaces clear. This is a space for this is a space for this. But in the reality, it's not just like that. It have the blur area, it have the overlapping area. This should be concerned. And ground level are the most important, as you may know already. That's because it's considering as the urban identity. For example, if you imagine Chinatown in Bangkok, when you walk around, you don't see the fifth floor, the fourth floor, or the higher one. You see the ground level. That is how you impressed by the city or by the street. Same like in Jakarta, same like in Surakarta, same like in Indonesia, Malaysia, same. We have been impressed from the place by the ground level. And the sixth is the integrative space that need to be reintroduced to creating a vital role for overall. Okay. This can be also part of the discussion later that I have maybe 7 issues here. Okay, I will go one by one. So after collecting all the data, we can end up that, okay, we're considering as Asian street culture as urban heritage or urban identity, right? So most of Southeast Asian traditional street or commercial street are the trade-based activity that forming the urban pattern and the street layout. So we should keep maintain this to remain the uniqueness of Asian street. However, trading activity still offering the exchange of the commercial purpose, daily lifestyle, especially for not only just for the commercial, but including the cultural purposes, religious as well, different practicing Christian, Muslim, Islam, or Buddhism. Yeah, and by that, the zoning regulation should provide the chances of diversity in most aspects that need a very high concern design, that how we're going to maintain the mixed use and make it clean, make it walkable, or whatever can be called the new term of for the new design prospect as well. Okay, number 2, street space uses. As you see that uses of the spaces are very common, are the common space that including the shared space between the public and the private space. This is a very important point as well, because like we try to categorize the public space, the private space, or the semi-public space. But as I said before, that in reality, people used it not, they have the blur areas that also have been neglected for many reasons, because they see that, okay, this should be a very clear boundary, but people that doesn't use it that way, yeah. And the second one is according to physical and build form, traditional street element represented by their integrative spaces. It's the dynamic balance between. So they have a movement of the activities inside, outside, in between, right? So we need to have a good observation and take an eye on that, how it happened and how we should enhance or support the activities for the local community. And for the social spaces, it should, of course, offer the reflection of the formal function and the variety of informal social activity as well. So when we deal with the social spaces, some part of the social spaces are informal forms, but we have to concern that there are also a variety of informal social activity as well. So it should have a vibrancy, have a high level of diversity that should be in the concern, and liveliness will be more on the street. Okay, so this diagram is, imagine that one of the bubble here is the activities. So activities are not only just a fixed activities, they can be moved around. Like you said, that street vendors are part of the very important structure of the old commercial area as well, and movable. They stop for some certain place, and then they move around and then come back, something like this. But when one activity moves to another, yes, space has been changed by its form, has been changed, because they have to negotiate between the public space, considering that all of this is the public space. So you have activity inside the public spaces. Once the activity move or change the form of the activities, space change as well. The form of space change as well. So that is the role of the how do we maintain the street vendor, because they are part of the spirit of the place as well for the vendors or other types of activity. Like you see in the right side, rickshaw in Malaga World Heritage City. They move around. This is to serve the tourist. However, in other places, we also like Yogyakarta, also one of the most favorite place for the street vendors as well. So they move around. So the local authority have to think carefully to consider that how to accommodate them, because this is the ground level of the local economics for the community as well. Okay. And as I said before, that there are no certain definition or clear boundary of the public and private space. So this should be in concern, more especially in Hanoi or Quarter. In the morning, you will see different thing, but after time passed, people will change and keep changing and negotiate between the beside them, and everyone must respect each other, because then they're dealing with all time of negotiation. When some of the shop, for example, like this lady, they have only two small shares here, as you see. But when they have the more customer, shares will come more, and it need to rearrange because there have some more of the customer. So this is part of the identity that collected, especially from Hanoi Hotel and some part as well, that they have a place that need negotiation between the local itself. It's cannot be arranged by the local authority. And share space is arranging by its organic form, not fixed. It depends on the availability of the spaces. Okay, another drawing showing you here is the connection of can be called the relationship of the spaces through different scale. From the very small interior scale to the architectural scale and to the urban scale outside as the city, they have a space for the connection, right? And the overall, we may call the streetscape or district and all this. So space is connected all the time. It depends, it up to you that you can see it or not, but it connected all the time. Even at nighttime, space still has a connection. So we have to consider this as how we connected the space, not how we divide the space. Let me repeat this again. The concern is about how we going to connect this space. But for most of like new young student and all this, they try to separate the space, not connecting it. That is the problem, right? This is my direct experience that I see from several places. Okay, so going more into detail about the connecting of the spaces. We have the domain, right? The private one and the public one. This is large one, very large aspect, private and public. But in the detail, they have a degree of the interface spaces. It depends on how they overlap between the private and the public domain. Don't forget that all of this old commercial area is developing from the trade base. So when you trade from your house, it means you doesn't have that kind of privacy. Only just if you go to the upstairs or to the second floor and all this. Now, okay, that become more privacy for you. But when you are in the ground level, your privacy still connect to the outside, and also they have an impact from the outside to inside as well. So this is the degree of the interface of the in interface spaces. The more they have a high level of degree, that means they have a good connection between the private and to the public. Really, you can stop me anytime, yeah? Okay.
Sure.
Third one is the street activity is involved in all form, yeah? That kind of conditioning the activity that occur on the street space, either is indoor or outdoor. For the Asian context, people use the street for, as I said, as we know, that multi-dimensional purposes, and is their usual daily life. So the balancing of these uses, including types of activities, business, leisure, relaxation, recreation, is the challenge for the conservation process and also for the design to revitalize as well. Here also part of some of the street in this is Lang Ong Street in Hanoi headquarters as well. Same like in different several of Asian country, but the size are very small, so they have to keep all the in front of the shop as the easily to be movable, right? So everything, the arrangement of their product and all this have to be they think carefully already that how they're going to display this and how they're going to welcome their customer. They also park the motorcycle in front of the shop. So it's the complexity of the dealing with the uses of the spaces. And as we know that street vendors play the remarkable role in linking all people all together, rich to poor, right? High education to, to everyone. So street vendor are the chain that link everyone all together on the street. So some of the street look at the street vendor as some of the not good thing, but try to remove them, okay? Try to zoning them. That means the vibrant of the city also have been removed as well, right? So we have to find a good solution to place them or to organize them and let them have their own uh, uh, capability to, to move around, to search for their own customers and all this. So it deal with the physical and social context as well. And of course, they are part of the informal activity because they are not in the shop. They move around. So we can categorize it as the fixed or semi-fixed or even mobile types. So this is still important. Even we have several of the study already, but still more because nowadays, especially after the pandemic, we become into the digital era. So this become a threat for them because people buy things online and all this. So later on, how they're going to survive? And they are part of the spirit of the place in the city. So if they are gone, right? Imagine how the city look like, how the street look like. So that we need them to, to be part of the structure of the city, and they can promote the social cohesion as on social economics prosperity as well. And especially for the pedestrian that engage with all the essential elements, especially what we are talking here is the urban street vendors. Okay. So the common characteristic in Southeast Asia represent as the places of cultural significances. It serves for social needs, public space as a public space, but careful, what is the meaning of public space? It's different from because some of we study the theory and all this. We need to adapt it and make it fit to the context. And informal activity patterns is the important one also. Okay, take a look at this one. Okay, this I took this from I stay on the third floor in the hotel. They have a very small balcony, and after I come back at the hotel and look around and focused on this juice, maybe they're selling the fruit and the juice bar. They call it juice bar, right? So looks simple, right? As one of the kiosks here. Lighting here, and they have a box here to put the ice. That's the ice storage here, and you see the structure of this, right? It arranged by the customer themselves. So they place the chair on the line here. When the customer come, they will arrange it themselves. How they're going to sit, how they're going to have a meeting there depends on the numbers of them. If they're a couple, they want to sit tight, closer. If they're a group of friends and all this. So this is an arrangement that happened not coincidentally, but organically, inorganic way, right? To serve their own purpose. Depends on the limitation of the area or the spaces. So what I found that Asian Street revealed that the arrangement depends on three conditions. First one, arranged by the space, as for example, like size, the context, enclosures, elements, or lighting itself, because lighting have impact with the space, right? Secondly, the arrangement by the time. Timing can be day to night, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., or the whole season, or the whole year, or some of the festival. It also depends on the time and the climate, raining, hot day, and all this. And the last one, which let's say that is the very important, that by the activity itself. Because as you see that this is a very small experimental, take a look by the photograph, and we can learn that what happened during just half an hour or 1 hour. It changed all the time. It keep changing and keep changing, keep changing. The space limitation are the same, but people will see things that how they're going to arrange according to their purposes. Okay, so this is at night time, right? They're almost about to close the shop already. So the size of the shop are reducing. It become closer to the owner of the shop already. No more on the far away side. It become closer, and by the lighting as well. So people try to arrange themselves to fit into the context. This is very interesting, and they use this pavement to use for their business, including their parking for the motorcycle from the customer. Same here, yeah. If you look at simple one, you see that, oh, this is not well arranged. There are so many things here, but actually there are at least 6 to 7 activities here happen at the same time in one corner of the street. Parking here, this is one of the shops selling tea. He's the guy preparing the shoes rubbering and cleaning. This is other family, and this is other one who's selling inside the shop, right? So this is the complexity that need to be reviewed, and how we going to revitalize and all this and make it more better and better in terms of the street culture. We cannot remove and make it, put them in the box and all this. You park motorcycle, also the problem, but it become a unique scene of the Southeast Asian, especially in this case, it's in Hanoi. I didn't say this is good or bad. I said this is the unique character, right? So it depends on all professional here and others as well, that we need to think how can we a model for the good one, as we can use this as a contemporary structure to maintain all of this. All right. Okay. Maybe this could be the last one before really going to have some discussion. Informality, right? So informality is our nature, our Asian nature of our behavior. When we go to the places, yeah, we want to be, of course, secure. Yeah, we want to be safe. We don't want to be everything has too organized and everything, right? We want to be leisure, yeah, and walk around and see things and do things informally, right? That is the sense of the Asian street culture, one sense of the street culture. So people constantly adapted that street space to accommodate non-formal one, right? Non-formal one. They can do many types of activity in one time, right? In some area, they're raising the child, selling things, or doing other business, talk with the other side, owner shop, in the same time. This is their own, because they feel that the street are part of their said to be said like they belong to the street. Street belong to them, so they use the street as same as in their own houses, because they need to connect from private to the outside, right, as the private. So this is everyday scene. The common one occurred in as the social norm or the custom of the Asian roots. Okay, so but this informality somehow not being recognized by the planners or the designer. So we have to make it more clear that this is the existence of the informality, how to make this intangible one become more tangible and be part of the criteria for the guideline or for the design, that we can maintain this and make it proper, more properly. Yeah. Okay, and yeah, this is from Professor Adit, that he mentioned about the people in all Asian old area here. Now it become a challenge because new people, no, it's not new people, young people don't want to stay in the same place anymore. They want to seek for the new, maybe contemporary style, modern style. So how we going to do the conservation without the spirit of the people, without the people who should become its guardians to save the places or the city? Yeah. So this is part of the concern as well, that how we going to keep the people and let them live in their own place by having them and allow them to create some of the activities that they can relate it with their daily life. Yeah? Not only just you have to sell the old thing, you have to sell the old thing. That is not make sense anymore. Okay. Okay, really, I think I stop here, and if there's not many slides left, but this is not the main issue, but what I just talked now. Okay, so this is about the ICH, or the intangible one, right? So my point here is, now's the day it become, like I said before, now become a trend. Also, especially like Thailand as well, that they have like waking up, and oh, this is our legacy, this is our heritage, all this thing. But they take some time to preserve only the product. Didn't realize that actually it's not about the product. It's about the people who create it. It's about the process to create it. So if you preserve only just the product, you are losing this intangible cultural heritage. You cannot bring it back. But when, okay, you highlighted, okay, this is the community that they are well for this kind of activity or this kind of product. And then how can we, help them, educate them in some new techniques way, and then they can continue by doing on their own. Can be called as the traditional craftsmanship, right? But not only the object, but the process and the people as well. Okay. Street performance dealing with the ICH, right? Once you have more performance on the street, it helped the city, it helped the community as well. It doesn't matter how many audience or the people, because once they have time to preparing it, part of the conservation or the preservation of the cultural heritage is already started. All right. Okay. I mentioned this a little bit about this. I was invited to, they call the art space. So they have been renovated the old railway station, right? Very huge one during I think the war, since the Vietnam War or the World War II, and no use anymore, right? So it become the empty space. So the local authority of the Hanoi has been decided to put the fund and to renovate and all this. But the point is, it become a new space for the new generation, right? So they can have more spaces to bring their old idea, the new types of product that representing the city, representing of this kind of thing. So this is part of the adaptive reuse that have been just done in Hanoi quarters, and of course in other places as well. And okay, lastly, Luli, when we talk about this is going to be part of the open dialogue to all of you as well, right? When we talk about the revitalization or part of the street culture as well, so somehow we need to reintroduce something, right? Because from the old days, the understanding maybe changed already. So the young generation doesn't understand same like what the old generation does. So we have to reintroduce them, not only about the generation, but about the people in the city as well, that why are these are for, how we call this, why this is important, and all this, and reproduce some of the products, some of the activity should be reproduced in new ways, right? And then we know that, okay, this is going to be the revitalization, because if you don't clear that what are we going to revitalize, it may be out of the track, right? So bringing back the elements or the practice that may have been lost are very important. So we bring it back and we reintegrate these all things into contemporary context. Connection with heritage and preserving cultural and all this identity, and replicating or reproducing some of the aspect of heritage or cultural practice, whereby we can use innovative or adaptive method nowadays. And last one, for the revitalization, the heritage or the cultural aspect, we can enhance their vibrancy back, relevance or the sustainability, and include the new life for the cultural tradition practices and become is the value. So once they have their own value, we can do it more sustained for the last long for the community. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Achan Mat. Wow, that's a very great presentation, Achan Mat. Actually, this is also part of your PhD program, right? In UTM,
Yeah.
was graduate with the thematic of the Asian spirit. Before we are going to the questions that maybe the participant already here in the box chats, also, yeah, the participant also can raise the hand. Then we can have the question from you directly. I would like to ask you one question, Achan Mat, regarding presentation. So most of the Asian streets have the negotiation, right? The thematic or element of negotiation. Actually, negotiation is between whom? Which stakeholders that really involve really close with this negotiation? Have you ever do mapping for this kind of negotiation in the Asian street? And what do you think?
Okay, thanks for this question, really. This negotiation, okay, you imagine that you own the shop house, right? So you are the owner of the shop house. And later on, there are someone that, for example, street vendors and they want to put some of the activities in front of your shop houses. So what you're gonna do, right? You will look at it like, okay, what are you selling? Are you selling the same thing as me? Are you selling different thing, right? So, okay, this is in between the owners of the shops and the vendors as well. And also the vendors and the vendors as well, okay? You sell the drinks, I sell roti. Can we stay together, right? Some kind of this kind of thing. But if you sell drinks, I sell drink, I don't want to be with you, right? Because we will have a trouble with the customer. Yeah, so we will separately. But not all negotiation are success, right? Some negotiation fail, right? Because they have crashed. They don't like it. That also happen. But mostly to survive, you have to respect others. That's why negotiation is still a good deal, right, for the city. And this is out of, let's say that this is out, no local authority involved, because this is going to be only by the local as well. And there are also examples that I think maybe in some part of Malioboro also, if you want to place this, if you are the vendors or you are this kind of thing, you want to put your product in front of the house, you need to pay a rent, right? And that rent is also part of the negotiation as well. Okay, you have this size, okay, then you sell this, and you pay me a week for this 1 rupees and all this. So this is also the part of the negotiation. But when you go to the kind of formal public spaces, right, that is negotiation done by the local authority. You have everyone have the same side lot, okay? You put your carriage here, you put your motorbike here. Everyone have the same side, right? That is done by the local authority or by the who else not forming by their own by the community itself. So it could be more, depends on what the context of the places, but it's all over but this kind of negotiation. So mainly is the owner of the shop and the vendors. This is the main part of this kind of negotiation. The second one is between the vendors and the vendors.
Okay, this is interesting because here in Solo, the negotiation also come going to the parking park, the
Yeah.
mafia of the parking
Yeah.
park.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
one of my students in master programs
Mm.
interested with this issue.
Mm.
Okay, so the negotiation it also includes everybody who there's in the streets ya, Acan Mat.
Mhm.
Oke, dan Bapak Ibu semuanya dan adik-adik silakan untuk bertanya. Anda bisa mengajukan pertanyaan melalui meeting chat dan kemudian raise hand untuk pertanyaan tersebut. Baik, saya akan membacakan pertanyaan yang ada di kolom chat gitu ya. We have one question coming from Bapak Yunanto Nugroho. Bapak
Yeah.
Yunanto, would you like to asking by yourself, or should I reading it for you? Bapak Yunanto, are you there? Apakah Mas Yunanto ada di sini? Anda bisa mengajukan pertanyaan sendiri. Nanti saya bisa translate-nya, Mas Yunanto. I think Mas Yunanto not here anymore, but yeah. His question is about what is exactly the identity of street in Asia Old Quarter, Acan Mat? Probably you can prop up and get one conclusion. What kind of element involved in this process? And we would like to see, yes, this is the identity place of the street culture, or what kind of that?
Actually, it's quite tough to have like one word, right? But as I showed you before, right, the uniqueness one. Okay, we knew that commercial area for trading. Trading is kind of exchanging, right? So exchanging means that you have different types of people all together, not only just one type of the people. Different kind of things come together. So one word that can be used here is the complexity, right? But the complexity doesn't mean that this is the chaos and all this. But when you go to the place, you see different of people, different type of thing, different of the movement and all this. So this vibrancy is the most important things that be part of the identity. But when we talk this identity, we can considering this is the urban identity, right? So it's not just only the activities, but it's part of the street enclosure as well. Size of the street also important, right? Accessibility of the street also important, right? So these physical attributes are part of the creating the identity as well, which it should not be the large side of the city, right? It should be in a very like a small scale, and you can walk around and then you see things here, the other side of the pavement. You can take a look and this kind of thing. So for the physical, if you doesn't concern about the human scale, right? Because in the old days, the market and all this are the all human scale, right? People can see and all of this. So what is the question? What is the answer? So is the complexity and the vibrancy, yeah, including the part from the physical attributes, or let's say like some part they still remain the old characteristic style of the architectures also. But in some of the area, they have also the problem, for example, like they still have the old buildings well conserved, but inside it become a new, things already. It's not related to the old area anymore, because for example, you can have a Starbucks and all this instead of the old style copy, something like this, right? So this should be part of the concern and the awareness for the revitalization as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Acan Mat. Coming the next question from Ibu Ria. Bu Ria, would you like to asking the question by yourself? Bu Ria, apakah
Ya,
Have a
Yeah,
please,
thank you, Buruli. Thank you, Dr. Mongkol, for your presentation. It's very interesting, and yes, you're right. We have a common character of the market, especially street culture in Southeast Asia. So actually, we also facing the problem while the pandemic that a lot of street culture or street market was closing, and some of them should change their business. So is there any case how the community along the street market deal with the pandemic during the pandemic, and how they solve the challenge, and is there any survival and they can gain back the culture or the market? Yeah, I think that's my question.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. This as I see in Bangkok and latest in Hanoi, actually it's not about the pandemic itself. It's about the disruption of the digital era, right? Pandemic, actually, okay, we know how the impact is very high. We never faced these kind of things before. So many of the shop cannot survive. They have to close, shut down forever, and now they cannot come back. But nowadays that I heard from the interview from the people in Hanoi, especially in Hanoi quarter, they said during the pandemic they still can survive, right? Because they can the sales among each other, right? But okay, lower income, but the most impact is the digital online commercial. So people become using the online and all this for shopping and all this. So they not come to the place and buy this kind of thing anymore, right? They stay at the house and all this. But this disruption, of course, is reflected from the pandemic that make it more faster, right? For example, like nowadays, you don't go to the cinema, right? You watch the television or the movie that you want from your home, right? Because it's easier and all this kind of thing. So, however, by that challenges from the digital era, it still have a good things, right? Because some of the young generation that they still can maintain in the city, for example, like their own generation selling this kind of snack or drinks or coffee and all this. So when they know this kind of technology, so they can, be ready, to have this kind of digital platform to remain their own occupation from their family, from the father or the mother, by using by using this kind of mobile and application and all this. So I saw some of the shop that from 8 years ago that I see them, they have changed, but remain the same characteristic of the shop. This is good one. Same in Bangkok as well. Some of the old shop, like 40, 50 years noodle shop and all this. So it become they kind of rebranding themselves. But not everyone can do it. This is sad. Many of the old traditional one have been gone and cannot recover back because they are not ready and they don't have the younger generation to support them. But the point is, nowadays, as I heard from the policy from the Bangkok governors as well, that they try to educate the vendors and the merchants to use this kind of application, that they can survive because they see that they have some kind of the very famous shop in the old days, right? And then once they open back after the pandemic, they said, "Oh, I don't know what to do. Everything has been changed. Oh, how can I do that?" And so there must be some agency that should be dealing with that and try to bring them back as much as they can. We cannot maintain all. This is also from the God, that okay, if you cannot survive, you will be disappear. So this is kind of a life circle that we have to face the reality of this. But what actually my point to answer you is more dangerous is about the digital era that have been changed. So we can buy anything from any place of the world, right? We don't have to take a motorbike out and to get the coffee. We can sit at home and order everything. So this is the things that we are facing and challenged for today. Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you, Dr. Mongkol. Social media is also the power because a lot of
Yeah.
influencer and endorser now from young
Mm.
generation also sometimes
Mm.
posting on their social media for hidden gems, especially in the small alley or something like that. So they try to
Yeah.
show not only how delicious this food, but also the ambience of the neighborhood. So a lot
Yeah.
of young people now try
Yeah.
to posting
Yeah.
the information of the
Yeah.
street vendor.
Yeah, that is the
Thank you.
good thing of the Generation Z and the Millennium one, right? Because they post everything, right? So maybe that is become the opportunity for for the business. Okay, it become boom at just one night, and next day everyone want to come here and to check in here and all this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's the advantage of the social media.
Yeah.
They come with the coffee shop. I think, yeah, in Hanoi now there is the booming of coffee shop. It's not different with here in Indonesia. And these hidden gems and they promote through the social media, and then yeah, they gain a lot of tourists coming from the social media. I think it's also happened in Solo and everywhere in Indonesia, Achanman. Okay, next question is coming from Alfi. Pak atau Mas Alfi, boleh ini boleh berbicara langsung, silakan untuk bisa menyampaikan. Ya, Pak Alif Sarifudin. Apakah ingin menyampaikan secara langsung? Otherwise, okay, I will read for you ya, Achanman. Good afternoon, Dr. Mongkol Khan. I'd like to ask about informalities which often being seen as illegal, especially high-density settlement area where space is limited. Then the use of public space for private use are inevitable because it is undeniable for someone to live this way. What is the threshold of illegal informalities and more informalities that is still acceptable and can be considered as a part of the heritage? Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. This is not an easy question. Yeah. But first of all, who are the one who decide this is legal or illegal? Yeah, this is the first point, right? So illegal in terms of what? In terms of you are become the intruders of the spaces because these spaces belong to the public. So this kind of thing. But actually, there should be some part of that's me called the compromising of some area, right? That can be used as the multi-layers function. Because if you use the force by the law, right? We can do nothing on the public space. We can do nothing on the public space, right? So everyone have to go inside the shop, or you cannot park the car and all this. Of course, that is make the traffic have a problem. We all knew that, especially in some city that have a lot of motorcycle, right? Then they park and all this. So if you ask me that is the threshold of the illegal informality and some of this kind of thing. The acceptable one, I think it should be in kind of like a zoning area that how people can, use the space more freely, and you restrict in some certain area only. And you restrict for some certain activity on these. For example, if you don't allow them to park the car, for example, right? So did you provide enough space parking for the parking? Or is this too far? Or how you have other types of solution to accommodate all these things, right? So it become like two-way, vice versa, right? Like I said at the beginning that who defined that this is illegal, right? Illegal in terms of the traffics, or illegal in terms of it's not appropriate, it's not inappropriate activities or not. right? Or even sometime you walk into the city, right? And you don't have a place to sit, right? Because there are no public chairs and all this. What can you do? You have to buy something from the shop in order to take a rest and sit there, right? So this is dealing with the benefit of the private matters and also the public awareness as well. So the more people come to your place, to your street, it should be good in the ways of enhancing the economics, right? So at the end, right, people or the local actually they don't care, what kind of laws and law enforcement, because if they can sell things and the economics is good, they were willing to do that. But if you try to force them too much, right, they cannot survive. Then they will try to think something else, like move to some other place and all this. So I cannot answer in generally that how the threshold of each place will be, But if the stakeholders, local agency or local authority be part of the middleman between the local and the public users, right? So they can have a certain area or some specific area that allow, for this kind of organic activities and all this to happen, and some area should be not allowed. So this can be negotiated between among all of the stakeholders. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Mongkol Khan. I think
Well,
this is
Luli, let me add this thing a little bit more.
Have-
Because I saw that, okay, that his question also can be considering as part of the heritage.
Mm,
If you go to Malacca, yeah, if you go to Malacca now, right, you walk around, right, only few shops that remain the owners of the shops still there. It become, the guy who they hired for working and all this. So then they don't have any sense of belonging, sense of places. But when you walk, you see only, okay, what they sell, nice colonial architectural style and all this. You don't feel with the people. Right? This is the most dangerous one, because when people move out for some reason, the city are losing their own identity, which is more important, right? Because if you look around and you see, oh, seems like very beautiful city, but where is the people? Where is the local people that are more,
yeah, the
dangerous?
local people.
Yeah.
Yes, it's amazing when they do the gentrification and then make more international. So they will remove one by one of the local element from this site. That's so interesting. We can learn a lot from the site of that was listed to the UNESCO World Heritage. And actually, congratulations for Yogyakarta. Malioboro Street is part of the UNESCO World Heritage List Acad Mart now by last years. For the intangible imaginary axis of a streetscape in Malioboro. Yeah? It's actually not Malioboro, but the axis itself. So it's become a challenge. Okay, Amadia, please wait. If you would like to give the questions, I should ask for the Florentia Natalie first. Okay, Florentia, would you like to ask your question by yourself, Florentia? Have a please. So, Mbak Floren, silakan mengajukan pertanyaannya. Apakah masih di sini? Okay, then I will read for you, yeah, Achan Mat. From Florentia Natalie, she's asking you, in most of current urban developments, the government usually do evictions of street vendors and eliminating other activities not associated to the transportation activities to tidy up the streets, yeah, more clean and more structured, yeah. Since they tend to be messy and sometimes give a dirty impression of the neighborhood. So how can we conserve the existence of this urban heritage without causing any negative image around? Is it possible to implement the solution around city in Asia, considering the high density of these streets also? So yes, informal activities is part of the problem, and how you give the impression for that, Achan Mat. Have a please.
Okay. Actually, this one is directly deal with the community leader. You know, there. Okay, if you imagine, right? Okay. Chinatown, right, in Bangkok. Yeah. 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers. They have a small alley. You know. Inside of some of the alley, very clean, very manageable, very well arrangement, you know, and everything is look like you go inside of the, you know, very, oh wow, so beautiful and so clean and all this. So because of the leaders of the, you know, sub-district of the community can convince all the people around there that we must help each other by their own perspective. They knew which one is the negative image of their own community, which one is a positive image of the community. For example, they don't want people, you know, to acting like a drug dealers and walk around and all this. So they try to manage and protecting their own community because they don't want their children, you know, to see this kind of bad images, not for tourists, but for their own community. I saw some of them successful. When you walk inside their own, you know, property, you look, oh, this is different than the outside because they are under their own maintenance and well maintained by their own. They don't care about the local authority. And if you walk by as a visitor or bracket strangers, they will take a look at you. Okay, what are you doing here? And because the aims is to protect their own community, not about you. It's about they want to protect their own community. So this deal with the understanding of each community, the how you going to set them up that they have a meeting by themselves, not like forcing too much for them, and then they can have kind of let's say like consensus, you know, among their own, right? So this should be do and don't, right? Like us, you go to the dirty place, it's easy for you to throw the rubbish onto the floor because it's already dirty. But if you go to the clean place, wow, even some small pieces you need to bring back to your home because you don't have places to throw it because it's so clean. The same. So if the community can form this kind of images by themselves, the visitor or the others who pass by and will follow their own rule without written on it. Yeah, the rule that is not written in the wall, on the wall. Yeah, it shows by the ambience itself, right? But of course, not if you go if you go to some place that have a lot of people, cannot manage. Right? So if you cannot manage the whole people, then it become, you know, it happens, like you said, the negative image of the places, the dark area and all this is also happen. No direct solution that we can deal with. But I saw some of the places that they're success with this because they have a strong community consensus among themselves.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes the informal activities is not give the very bad impact or negative impact. I mean, if we are in Hanoi, so if there is no street vendors and everything, I think it will be not have a soul of Hanoi itself, yeah. Or other things in Solo city, if we cannot find the pedagang tahok gitu ya atau pedagang keliling yang lainnya, rasanya bukan pasar gede atau berada di apa daerah. Oke, Mbak.
Oh, pakainya kuas.
Bentar. Mohon maaf Pak Benny, bisakah di ini mute atau teman-teman Mbak Tisha boleh di mute Mbak Tisha. Oke, next questions coming for.
Kalau pakai itu kayak apa? Karena itu.
Mbak Trisha, Mbak boleh dibantu untuk di mute Pak Benny? Oke, terima kasih Pak Benny. Kita lanjut ya. So next question is coming from Miss Amadia from Xiamen University. Have a please, Mbak Amadia.
Ya, terima kasih. Good afternoon, everyone. Ya, saya dari Xiamen University, now pursuing master degree in architecture, history, and theory. At my university, I joined some academic discussion group consisting of foreign students. We always have certain topics to discuss. Once we discuss about Southeast Asia from the perspective of migrants, especially from Western country, thinks that the street situation in Southeast Asia is very chaotic, but at the same time also very interesting. Many things happen at the same time, just like, what you just state. So right now I'm in the Southeast Asian trip. Last week I was in Bangkok, and this week right now I'm in Malacca, next to Georgetown and Jakarta. I hope I can get a new insight and can share my new experience. So far, what I observe in this trip is the similarity among cities in Southeast Asia is the appearance of shop houses, especially in the trading area. From what I learned from school, this type of shop houses originated from southern China. But in the same time, I don't want to I don't want to limit my point of view by only observing from Chinese sources. My question is whether there is any Southeast Asian culture that shaped the typology of shop house architecture, or maybe if there is any Southeast Asian culture that influenced shop houses architecture in South China. Do you have any opinion regarding this shop house typology? Thank you so much.
Let me repeat. You asking that is there any Southeast Asian culture that reflecting
Yeah.
to the typology of the Southeast Asian architecture shop
Shop
houses?
houses. Yeah. And second, yeah.
If we talk about this kind of shop houses, it's the age of the shop houses that's maybe as earlier as 19th century or some 18th century, maybe not left much already. So by that time, the influence, of course, from southern of China, India, and European as the three majors that forming this kind of thing. Local only act as the resident. I mean, during the emergence of this or row of shop houses, right? Because during that time, architectures the architect are from the outside. That, for example, okay, during the time that Stanford Raffles moved from Penang to Georgetown, from Georgetown to Singapore, right? And eventually he ended up with kind of code for the building code, this kind of thing. That's why we have 5 feet way code and all this kind of thing. That is from the Singapore during the British time, right? Then after that, it become spread out all over, back to Bangkok as well. The King Rama V also adopted this kind of guideline. Let's say the guideline from British Singapore to Bangkok in near the Grand Palace as well, especially the row house and all this, but have been done by Thai architect, right? So, but that is during like more than 100 years ago, right? So we cannot say that Southeast Asian culture forming the architecture, because Southeast Asian itself as the mixtures of the people by itself already. We have a mixture of Indian belief. We have a mixture of Chinese, the impact of Chinese, and also the European mixed with the local culture. So it become more of the hybrid of version of the architecture as well. So it depends if you study forward more, right? So you can categorize that this typology that are you looking for, it emerge on which period, right? So if you're talking about the mid of the 18th century or 19th century or late 19th, so it will be depends on the decoration and the details and interior design as well. Because when local get inside there, they try to modify, right? To modify this kind with their own expectation or whatever it can be called. So it modify, but the outside structure remain the same. And you are now in Malacca?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now I'm in Malacca.
Okay, you are in Malacca. So what you all seeing now, the all over of the Malacca coast zone is preserved as much as they can from the beginning, right? So who built that? So who built that? Yeah. So many of them from the Chinese, architect or workers, from the Indian
Yeah.
or Myanmar and all this. So the local resident only buy the shop or rent the shop and then modify to serve their own needs as they can, but they are not allowed to do much, right? So I cannot answer you directly that, so is there yes or no Southeast cultures that affected to that? But if you look in the detail for the decoration, maybe they have, right? Because Southern China during that period, but when there are a Chinese who born in Malaysia or then so they have something slightly different than from their ancestor, right? So they have adjust or adapt their own belief or something, but mainly still connected to the mainland, to the South China. But in some detail, they have to, because they don't have that much space. For example, like the funeral ceremony and all this also need to adapt because they don't have that much land, to bury the bodies and all this. So it's all
Yes.
that is about the dynamics of, adaptation and on this to remain the core value only. The rest, it can be changed. Yeah. I'm not sure this is the answer you expected or not, but it depends on, the timeline
Thank
or
you so
the
much.
but it's a good observation and can consider as a good question, right? But yeah, maybe need to be more specifically that, okay, which one you means, right? Because this talk about only about the shop house. What about the mosque? What about the temple? What about other types of architecture, school, hospitals, and all this? So they are mixed all together. Yeah.
Yeah, also,
My research is actually about mosque architecture in Java during Ming
Oh.
Dynasty, 14th to 16th century.
Mm.
But right now I just observed that the
Mm.
most visible is shop houses. So
Mm.
I just like questioning myself, and thank you. I have the change to question you as well.
Mm.
Thank
Did you
you.
visit Masjid Kampung Kling already?
Yes,
Yes,
Kampung
of
Kling
course,
and
right?
Kampung.
Okay. You see the hybrid of the architectural style, right?
Yes,
Mm.
okay, that's nice.
thank you.
Nice, yeah.
Thank you,
So
thank you.
there's a lot of knowledge and sure the activities is triggers not only from the street itself but from the other cluster activities such as the shop houses, mosque, the market itself, yeah,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
others nilai activities. Okay,
Mm.
Acharmat, I think yeah, because it's time also already in the end of the time, it's already
Mhm.
3. We just only have around 2 hours meeting webinar. I think this is the perfect time as good. So yeah, I would like to make a short. I have a place to make a short conclusions from yourself because if it is done by me, then meanings it's my point of perspective, yeah. But have a place to give a short highlight from our discussions about the streetscapes. What is the challenges next? If we already knows these all the problems and the potency.
Mm. Okay, to me, I think now we are much better on the direction that we facing with the challenges of the conservation in this day. Because I've seen and I read some article on news that nowadays we try to highlight on more on our culture. It become more interesting. It's more proud. For the community. So by this concern, right? It can be elaborate on many aspects, right? So especially to the young generation, right, who will be, like say, the guardian of the place in the future. So if they are proud on their own culture, right, like nowadays, a case study of like in Thailand, yeah, they have a very famous long sleeve pants and all this that they try to produce to create their own uniqueness of their identity through the pants itself. So it become a challenge for all over the country try to recreate and all this. But the point is they're proud of that to do that, right? So this kind of things, especially for all of us as part of the designer, architecture, and all this, we have to highlight something that has been hidden for a long time, and don't judge by ourselves, listen to the community and try to, okay, what they want, and we support them. Yeah, even some small tiny things, it can be a big thing for them, and as the one of the doctor, I forget her name already, that have been asked that what about the pandemic, what about the what happened and all this. So it may be an opportunity to take this like social media era, digital era, to promoting all of this all together, right? And each places, I think, have their own character, their own uniqueness as well. No, that is no problem with that. But somehow they have our culture are connected, right? So don't forget this. This is all connecting. We don't every time like separating that is not in a good way, right? So we can share and learn more and more. We, like Thailand, adopt many things from Indonesia, right? Since the history, it's same because it's shared all over, same from Chinese, from everything. So if you keep respecting everyone, I think it will go on this in a good direction, and dealing with the futures, we need to, like I said, we need to reintroduce something, right? Bring it back, yeah, and it ready for the future, not just for the past. Yeah, I try my best to conclude it.
Thank you very much, Achan Mongkol, or Achan Mat. We always call it Achan Mat, yeah, because we already meet from 20 years back ago, and then yeah, we still keep on to promote this issue or topic because this is the basic things, yeah. Terima kasih. Thank you very much, Kapunka, Achan Mat, and all the audience here. The things that we can learn a lot from the Southeast Asia country. This is a part of also embedded in our culture. So kita punya permasalahan yang sama dan challenge yang sama. Saya berharap dari diskusi atau webinar hari ini bisa memberikan semangat, sedikit semangat atau banyak semangat gitu bahwa yang kita hadapi sama, dan beberapa elemennya memang menjadi menarik untuk ditindaklanjutin lagi, didokumentasikan baik sebagai researcher maupun sebagai praktisi atau profesional untuk kedepannya menghasilkan desain dan riset yang baik terkait dengan streetscape-nya. Kemudian ya kita tunggu untuk kegiatan tahun depan bersama IWAH di Solo, Surakarta. Kita akan publish atau launch kegiatannya bersama dengan IAI, akan menggandeng juga IAI Surakarta dan IAI Jawa Tengah. Dan kita akan share ke Bapak Ibu semuanya untuk bisa ikut serta juga jika memang memungkinkan untuk waktunya. Baik, terima kasih sekali atas kesempatannya. Kami serahkan kepada moderator kita pada hari ini, Mbak Trisa atau Mbak Wanda, untuk menutup acara hari ini. Sampai berjumpa di OH berikutnya. Silakan Mbak Warda atau Mbak Trisha.
Terima kasih pada Dr. Mongkol dan Ibu Ruli dan para peserta diskusi sekalian. Thank you to Dr. Mongkol and Dr. Ruli and all the participants. Selanjutnya sebelum kita tutup ada ada sambutan penutupan dulu dari Bapak Denny Iwan Setiawan. Kepada Bapak Denny Iwan Setiawan kami persilahkan.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I have electrical problems in my place. Maybe, yes. Good afternoon for all audience, especially for Dr. Mongkol Khan from Rajamangala University, and for that's interesting presentation. So also for Dr. Kusumaningdyah from Universitas Sebelas Maret, who had led this talking as a moderator. Obrolan Heritage this always bring interesting talk like this afternoon. We have so a remarkable thing in daily life in the city. We know better that heritage not only about a building and structure, but people that inhabited there. That's more interesting. The its identity is a city life with people who need to survive and some and then we find to meaning for our soul too in the city. Street life that bring vitality from the city, conserve the city by people as a guardian. Dr. Mongkol said before, activity and space make urban have strong sustainability and resiliency too. There are dynamic forces, informality in as a city is interesting, but in other side, the city need to attract young generation. That makes us think what kind of change we need. Street life is the key, I think. But usually government have no patience, no patience enough. At the end, we must say that thank you for Dr. Mongkol Khan, yeah, for the sharing and knowledge that we got, and of course for Dr. Kusumaningdyah that make discussion more exciting. I think enough. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore. Salam sejahtera semuanya.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hope I have a chance to visit Indonesia soon.
Sure, have a place.
Oke, terima kasih kepada Bapak Denny. Thank you so much. Sekadar pengumuman singkat sebelum acara ditutup. Informasi mengenai acara OHA selanjutnya akan kami unggah pada media sosial kami. PDA juga hadir di toko media dan menjual beberapa buku dengan topik seputar cagar budaya. Just a short announcement before the closing. The information about the next Obrolan Heritage will be updated in our social media. PDA also available in Tokopedia. Selanjutnya untuk sesi foto bersama, silakan Bapak dan Ibu sekalian untuk menyalakan kamera masing-masing untuk di screenshot. Ada sekitar 5 slide. Next is group photo session. Please for all the participants to turn on your camera to screenshot. There are about 5 slides.
Ya, tadi yang slide pertama sudah, sekarang berikutnya ke slide kedua. 1, 2, 3. Ya, berikutnya ke slide ketiga. 1, 2, 3. Dan slide keempat. 1, 2, 3. Dan slide terakhir. 1, 2, 3. Oke, terima kasih semuanya. Silakan ditutup untuk via.
Mohon maaf atas segala kesalahan. Terima kasih buat Ibu semua. Sampai jumpa di OH berikutnya. Selamat sore. Sorry for any inconveniences and thank you so much. See you later in the next Obrolan Heritage.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum
Thank you
warahmatullahi
very much,
Saya
Dr.
kembali
Mongkol,
Terima kasih.
and wait to meet
Thank
you in
you, terima kasih
2025
semuanya.
in Surakarta.
Yes,
Juli.
yes, we'll invite Sakti also. Bye-bye. Permission to leave.